Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's David Schmidt, and welcome to this product training webinar. I hope that all of you had a wonderful 4th of July long extended weekend. If you already haven't taken a vacation, you have one coming up this summer. Hope you will be happy, healthy, safe, and enjoying some well-deserved time to relax. We are going to be talking about a summer patch today, which is glutathione. Of course, you need glutathione every day of your life. It's the master antioxidant, the most important antioxidant, certainly that you could take and elevate. We'll get into that in a little bit more detail. But especially during the summer when we're interested in protecting our skin from damage. It's important to keep our glutathione levels elevated. When we have a lot of stress in our life and we want to help to manage that stress, support our immune function, glutathione is critical in that process. So today, what we are going to do is dig into the benefits of glutathione. You're going to look at clinical studies that we have done to support the safety and the efficacy of the glutathione patch. And I have a few surprises for you. I pulled a few clinical studies to show you some of the surprising benefits of glutathione. For all of you men that are out there today, or for all of you women that have husbands or partners and you want them to have the best quality of life possible, I've got a clinical study that I'm going to show you where men can become better lovers because of glutathione. So that's a little bit of a tease, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. So with that, there's going to be a fun product training webinar today for sure. Let's go ahead and get started and learn about some of the wonderful things of glutathione. Just quick mention here, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm an inventor and a researcher. And we are not making any medical claims about our product. We're going to look at a lot of technical information today that I'll share for your information only. We never make medical claims about our products. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the benefits of glutathione. Why would you want to elevate your glutathione levels? And I found a website here, healthtrends.com, that had a very nice summary of some of the benefits of glutathione. Now, glutathione, as I mentioned, is the body's master antioxidant. So there's any number of antioxidants in the body: vitamin C, vitamin E, alpha-lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, and others. But glutathione is ubiquitous. It's found nearly everywhere, nearly in every cell. And it can also help take an antioxidant like vitamin C, which has been used up, and convert vitamin C back into its active state. So glutathione is incredibly powerful. Now, when we think of antioxidants, two of the things that they will do is help reduce our susceptibility to oxidative chemicals, and they'll also help to manage inflammation. So let's say that you're working with someone that has Parkinson's disease, or you have someone with rheumatoid arthritis. You could apply the glutathione patch and help to see a reduction in inflammation and even a reduction in pain. This is because of the antioxidant properties of glutathione and how it helps to manage inflammation. So those are some of the basics when we're talking about an antioxidant like glutathione. But now glutathione goes way beyond that. One of the things that got myself interested in glutathione is its connection to aging and lifespan. Studies have shown that how long you live is directly correlated to the body's levels of glutathione. Also, so what this is really going to mean is that we can potentially extend lifespan with glutathione, potentially, but it's really more about staying younger longer and keeping the body healthy. So that's a big, big benefit of glutathione. Now, as glutathione is an antioxidant and found nearly everywhere, it's going to protect organs like the brain, the liver, and the heart, just to name a few. Glutathione also has an intimate role with the pancreas, we'll talk about in a moment. Now, the majority of glutathione that's made in the body is made in the liver, and maybe not surprisingly, the liver is the most regenerative organ in the body. So in any case, especially someone that likes to drink, maybe not have a healthy diet, keeping your glutathione levels elevated can help to protect the liver. By the way, we're getting quite a few questions coming in here. Just want to remind you that at the end of this brief presentation, I will be answering questions. Okay, some other things here about glutathione. Glutathione it plays a role in supporting immune function through several different pathways. When you go to this website, there are going to be a number of medical applications of glutathione. And bear in mind that, number one, we don't do any research on looking at how any of our patches can treat medical conditions. We always look at treating symptoms. And just because there's research on the use of glutathione to treat a medical condition, we don't make that as a claim. So here's would be a good example. Parents that have children with autism have noticed that they use the glutathione patch and the symptoms of the children improve. This is kind of understandable why that would happen. It's very important to distinguish, though, that glutathione is not curing autism. It's just simply helping to manage some of the symptoms. So in any case, I think that's a nice overview and introduction to some of the benefits of glutathione. And in the interest of time, you can go and to healthtrends.com and look at some of these summaries for yourself. But let's move on now and take a look at some of the other work that we've done when it comes to the glutathione patch. Now, these are going to be specifically clinical studies that we have done that show how we elevate glutathione and, well, again, staying away from medical claims, just how it can support the health of the body. This will become kind of self-evident as we dig into it. So we've been doing research now on our glutathione patch since 2005, and thought we would start off with this study that we did in 2010 with Dr. Lisa Tully, who is a pharmacologist. And this study, we collected blood samples and urine samples from the participants. It was a pilot study. And basically, we wanted to see, when we were applying the glutathione patch, did this lead to an increase in blood levels of glutathione, and did we also see an increase in the amount of mercury in the urine, meaning detoxification. And of course, it says right here, the results indicate that the LifeWave patches significantly increase blood glutathione. Now, let's use a frame of reference. If you take a glutathione pill, after 30 days, you'll see a 14% increase in glutathione. So that would be considered significant. So how did we do with the glutathione patch? Now, this study, along with other studies on our website, can be found at the science section of our website. For the interest of time, we're just simply going to scroll through this, and I'm going to go down to page 12, where we can look at the summary. If you want to go back later and look at all these graphs, you certainly can do that. So a couple of things I want to bring to your attention is that um, although there is variability in baseline glutathione measurements, which I'm going to discuss, we saw that the average after patch placement was 264% increase. Now, what does that mean, variability in baseline? This is important. Someone asked me earlier today, what would a normal level of glutathione in the blood be? And this is a very difficult question to answer because what would be a normal level today? And where does this person live? Do they live in, the pristine woods of maybe Colorado, or do they live in Beijing, which is an incredibly heavily polluted place? Does the person have a healthy diet? What is the age of this person? Because there's going to be age-related declines of glutathione, and et cetera, et cetera. So coming up with what a quote-unquote normal level of glutathione today, I think would be rather difficult, given all the toxins that we're exposed to in the environment. Also, when we think about is a person suffering with a chronic disease like rheumatoid arthritis, where they would be prone to having lower levels of glutathione, or someone young and healthy? So that's what it means, variability in baseline measurements. But even with that, we saw this massive, massive increase in glutathione levels. Now, if we take the worst case, someone had the lowest baseline value, maybe they were sick, who knows? There was an increase of 454%. So when we're talking on our website about a 300% increase in glutathione, this is where these numbers come from. But let's give another example here. And actually, I think I deleted that a little bit earlier. I'll tell you what, let me see if I can pull this up. We will go quickly here to the LifeWave website. Maybe in the interest of time, we will skip this. There is another clinical study that is on our website on glutathione. It involved 15 people. And basically what we showed is that at the lower end of the spectrum, we saw a 35% increase in glutathione after 24 hours. At the higher end, we saw a 500% increase in glutathione in 24 hours. So that's what this means by variability. It depends on a lot of different factors. But the average was right around 300%. Okay, now question, if we are increasing glutathione levels by 35%, 100%, 3 times over normal levels or baseline, what effect would that have on the body? So we did this clinical study. The data was collected by Dr. Sherry Blake Greenberg and processed by Dr. Homer Nazaran, who is a biomedical engineer. At the time, he was at the University of Texas in El Paso. And I believe Dr. Nazaran has retired now from the university. But in any case, we wanted to look at, what would happen if we took 30 people, put them on a glutathione patch, had them wear the patch 12 hours a day. One group would wear the patch 5 days a week. The other group would wear the patch 7 days a week. What would happen? We collected this data bioelectrically using a piece of equipment called EIS, or electrointerstitial scanning. This is a piece of equipment from Europe. And what the EIS system allows is to look at the bioelectrical function of different organs in the body. So with this, we can measure what's going on in the pancreas, the liver, the gallbladder, and so forth. And it gives us a nice idea of whether or not there's going to be any changes in the physiological function of those organs. So again, in the interest of time, skipping ahead, and again, you can get this study yourself right in the science section of the website, we see some pretty interesting things. The first thing is in the first group that were using the patches 5 days per week, we got a highly significant improvement in the function of liver, gallbladder, intestines, and so forth. And you can see, for those of you that follow statistics, you can see we got p-values of 0.001 and 0.01. So these were highly, highly significant findings. The other thing that we found in this study is that using the glutathione patch 7 days a week produced much better results than only using the patch 5 days per week. This was actually quite a surprising finding. We had thought that the results would be quite similar. So to find out that there was people got about double the benefits, double the results using it 7 days versus 5 days was quite surprising to us. Now, let's keep moving so we can get to some questions. But one of the things I want to get to now are some studies that are independent, third-party, done on glutathione supplements to show some very interesting research that people are doing on glutathione. Now, about 10 years ago, myself and Dr. Haltiwanger were invited to speak to the United States Army on our glutathione patch. And the reason why the U.S. military and other militaries are interested in glutathione is that the #1 disability is hearing loss. And as it turns out, glutathione protects the hearing from hearing loss. So this was a study that was published back in 2000, and you can see right here, these results indicate that glutathione is a significant factor in limiting noise-induced cochlear damage. So in other words, if you want to protect your body from hearing loss, keep your glutathione levels elevated. Now let's look at another study, which I think you're going to find incredibly interesting, and it has to do with glutathione and immune function. Now this sounds like a maybe a boring topic, but just bear with me for a second and you're going to see why this is so incredibly interesting. Now, #1, we know that glutathione supports immune function. Okay, fine. But what would happen if we took someone that had HIV? Okay, they had the AIDS virus. This, of course, is, horrible disease. Not many options available to people publicly. So what could someone do that would be natural as opposed to taking a drug that would have limited side effects and could actually improve their chances of survival? Well, as it turns out, glutathione has some surprising benefits for people infected with HIV. Now, I'm going to make a comment that this study was done by supplementing with N-acetylcysteine. What is that? Cysteine is an amino acid. So this is a form of the amino acid cysteine. And cysteine is the rate-limiting amino acid for building glutathione. So in other words, glutathione is made of 3 amino acids, and the one that people usually have deficiencies of would be cysteine. So to elevate glutathione levels, you can take a cysteine supplement. It doesn't work as well as our patch, by the way, but that's what they used in this study. So in any case, 2 placebo-controlled studies have shown that when working with patients that have HIV, that N-acetylcysteine, which elevates glutathione, caused both cases significant increase in all immunological functions. That's absolutely incredible. I think almost what I might find more amazing is that this was done back in 2000. So why doesn't everyone know this? This should make national headlines, and this should be standard of care for people with HIV. Taking a sip of water. Okay, now, in addition, which is maybe even more remarkable, there was almost a complete restoration of the immune cells, natural killer or NK cell activity. So imagine you have these people wasting away. They could die from the common cold. And here we have elevating glutathione restores their natural killer cell activity. So absolutely incredible. And again, I'm going to take the opportunity. We have no idea if our glutathione patch would have this effect, and we certainly would never make that claim. It'd be a medical claim. So what I would recommend, somebody has HIV, get on a supplement of N-acetylcysteine. Okay, now, maybe I saved the best for last, depending on how you look at it. Erectile dysfunction, not a fun thing, especially during the summer months, the months of love. What can men do if they have erectile dysfunction? And that is perhaps could be the subject of a whole webinar, since there are many, many natural options available to men. But this one study is rather interesting. I have to be honest with you that I was unaware of the role that glutathione played in the synthesis of nitric oxide. I happened to find this when I was doing some research on glutathione. And I do find it a little surprising. But in any case, this was in groups of men that had type 2 diabetes or were healthy, but the conclusion was still the same. When men had low levels of glutathione, this led to a reduction in the synthesis of nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is a gas. It's produced from the amino acid arginine. So you can take supplements like arginine or citrulline, and they will elevate nitric oxide. Again, subject for another webinar. But in any case, nitric oxide is a vasodilator, and this is what allows men to produce erections. And as men age and they get damage to their cardiovascular system, circulation is impaired, and men suffer with erectile dysfunction or other problems with sexual performance. Now, this is a really serious problem because erectile dysfunction is an early indicator of heart disease. Makes sense. When you think if you have impaired circulation, this is going to be not only a problem for sexual performance, but for the heart. So we should be very, very interested in elevating nitric oxide. Another thing is nitric oxide has hormonal function, acts like a hormone, and has been shown to be important for circulation within the brain. There's even research going on looking at using nitric oxide as a preventative for Alzheimer's disease, maybe even a treatment. So here we can see it's very critical that keeping glutathione levels elevated helps to support healthy nitric oxide levels. Very, very surprising. And so, in other words, if a man has erectile dysfunction, one thing you can look at is elevating your glutathione levels. I wouldn't stop there, by the way. I would say that would be one thing you can do. But there's certainly many other things to tackle that problem naturally. You don't need Viagra or Cialis or Levitra or any of those other chemicals. You can solve your erectile dysfunction naturally. Okay. So with that, let's go to some questions. And you can either raise your hand and I will unmute your microphone, or I've got a slew of questions here. Let's see if I can take some of these. All right, bear with me for a second. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, a lot of questions tonight. Let's see what I can get to. Some of these questions are very long. You know, there are a few of you that asked really, really long questions. What I would ask you to do is take what you wrote to me and submit them to customer service and put them to my attention, and they'll get to me. They'll forward the questions to me because they're just too lengthy for me to get to. Some of you are also asking me about medical conditions, and I'm not going to answer those. Not on the webinar. I can give you some guidance of what you can discuss with your doctor. What is the ideal patch protocol for motion sickness? Oh, this is actually interesting. I can answer this. It would be a medical claim, but it's well supported by the FDA. Actually, I think the only thing the FDA has ever approved in terms of a medical claim for acupuncture is the treatment of motion sickness. That's kind of odd. But in any case, that's the way it is. Stimulation of the acupuncture points pericardium 6. So this would be located on the wrists. Actually, I've got them on here today. How convenient. 3 finger widths from the crease in the wrist. By the way, this is always where I wear the patches on Tuesday. So it really, literally did work out that way. But you put the energy patches white on right, tan on left. The pericardium is the protective sheath that surrounds the heart. And so I stimulate the pericardium once per week. But use the energy patches on those points, and it is a well-known treatment for motion sickness. Okay. Along with elevating glutathione for Parkinson's, which patch can elevate dopamine? That would actually be our Nirvana patch. The Nirvana system is going to elevate dopamine and beta endorphins. So those are the feel-good chemicals. Now, if you're thinking about using those patches for treating Parkinson's, again, speak with a medical doctor first. We know, though, that glutathione has had wonderful benefits on helping to manage some of the symptoms associated with Parkinson's. And by the way, reason for this is that glutathione is what's called neuroprotective, meaning it's going to protect the nerves from damage. So, yeah, I'll keep the glutathione levels elevated for someone with Parkinson's, MS, Alzheimer's, and so forth. Neuropathy for sure. Okay, would the this is interesting. I don't think I've gotten this question before. Would the X39 patch be most ideal for gum health support? If so, is it better to place locally near the mouth, such as the chin? Now, the beautiful thing about the X39 is patch placement is virtually irrelevant. So if you want to get the benefits of X39 for anywhere in the body, place one day behind the neck, another day below the belly button, and that's good for the entire body. So there's no need to really apply it locally. You can if you want, but not necessary. Now, the X39 patch, of course, has been designed to elevate copper peptide. A number of years ago, this is going back maybe 15 years, I saw that there was a toothpaste made with a copper compound because it was found that copper can actually kill gingivitis. So this would be to say that we could speculate that X39 would help to support the health of the gums. There's some other things that are very well known to support the health of the gums. Fish oils, for example, or algae oil, basically omega-3 oils, will help act as an anti-inflammatory for the gums. So if you get your fish oils, your algae oil on a regular basis, eat salmon regularly or mackerel, use the X39, yeah, I would say that would be a good strategy for supporting the health of the gums. Okay, thank you, Kathy, for sending that link. That's exactly the one I was looking for. I deleted it by accident before the webinar started, apparently. All right, let's see. My almost 13-year-old Cocker Spaniel has cataracts and now seems to be losing her hearing. The X39 seems to have resolved her arthritic pain in her back hips. Would the glutathione patch help with either her cataracts or her hearing? Of course, we don't make medical claims. So glutathione, from what I've seen in the research, can help to protect hearing from hearing loss. But if a human being or an animal has already lost their hearing, I don't think glutathione is going to really help. There is some research on the use of copper peptide to regenerate damaged nerves. So that might be something that would be an interesting area of research. With cataracts, I might be looking at something like glutathione or carnosine. Again, we can't make any medical claims. You'd want to work with your doctor to assess the safety. But given that glutathione and carnosine as antioxidants are found in tears, I might want to look at that. Okay. Okay, so this is from a member. They're making a statement. I've been using LifeWave patches since February. I think they're a wonder. Thank you very much. With these webinars and the help of my cousins and Telegram's LifeWave friends, I'm learning a lot. Thank you for these live webinars. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I love doing the webinars and always happy to be of help. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, since the patches work based on phototherapy, will they be affected if they are put near a light source or in sunlight? So the patches contain organic crystals that reflect very specific wavelengths of light, and they are activated by body heat. So you can apply them to the body, and of course they work. You don't want to store them where they're open to light, where they will be exposed to heat, because heat will deactivate them over an extended period of time. So I would not put them in the sunlight because the UV light or the heat could damage them. Can these patches be used on horses? The technical answer is yes. The FDA has not approved our patches for use on horses. AccuLife is the only one that we've had registered. So if you wanted to use them on horses, you could. That'd be your choice, but we don't have them registered that way with FDA. But we have done research on IceWave and Eon on horses, and they work spectacularly well. What symptoms of Parkinson's are helped by glutathione? We see people get an improvement in their range of motion, reduction in pain, reduction in tremors, improvement in energy, and overall improvement in well-being. We've never done a study with people with Parkinson's. This is all anecdotal feedback that members have given us, or things that we've seen. Let me see. This is going to be a long question, but it's a really good one. Precisely, what is the glutathione patch targeting to stimulate the glutathione release? If it is a wavelength of light, how exactly does that work? Okay, this is definitely not going to be able to answer that in a minute here. But basically, what was discovered, this is going back 10 years now, is that the carrier for light in the body, you could think of this as being, in electronic terms, as being the transducer, is a chemical compound called cytochrome C oxidase. And so basically what happens is you have light that will hit the surface of the skin. The wavelengths of light will come in contact with cytochrome C oxidase, which is part of the energy production cycle in the mitochondria. And then this gets converted over into biochemical effects. So what that means is, let's say we use 660 nanometer light, or we use a wavelength of light in the infrared band. Cytochrome C oxidase will be activated by this light, and in response will increase beta oxidation, which is fat burning. So we get an increase in mitochondrial energy. This mechanism is very well understood today, and is the basis for photobiomodulation and phototherapy. Okay. For overall maintenance, how often might one wear the glutathione patch? Now, the X39 will increase glutathione levels. It's about 30 to 40% from our research. So that would be perfect for maintenance. But if you wanted to do a detox, what I do is I use X39 on the back of the neck during the day. I'll use carnosine below the belly button. I use 1 or 2 sets of energy patches. And then at night, I use the Eon patch. And I also am always experimenting with different patches and rotating things. On the weekends, though, I'll substitute carnosine for glutathione. So I use the glutathione patch now 2 days a week. That's the cycle that I like, and depending on what results you're looking for, you can experiment. My X39 anniversary date is July 22nd. Are there any clinical studies being run that are a year long? The answer is actually yes. We started that back a little while ago, and we're not quite ready yet to release those results. It's ongoing. And we're at the bottom of past the bottom of the hour, so this is going to be the end here. But yes, we actually made the decision that on the X39, I wanted to do a long-term study. It started out as a study where we're collecting data at 3 months and 6 months, and pending the outcome at 6 months, we'd extend the study to 12 months. We're not ready to tell what that's going to be about, but I can tell you're going to love it. This is looking at a very, very interesting potential benefit of X39. So in any case, thank you so much for being here today. Hope you all have a wonderful summer. Hope you enjoyed this webinar, and looking forward to talking to you next month. As for me, I am off to Japan, leaving on Friday. We have a sold-out crowd of 500 people. Going to see some of our leaders there from the U.S., like Roy Serjono, Lorenzo Magru, and, of course, our family of Japanese members. Japan is one of the fastest growing markets in the world for us today, so definitely excited to be over there supporting them. So thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and see you on next month's product training webinar.